Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being early in this auditorium with me. I was asked to deliver a TED talk to you, but I have to admit that my memory is so bad that I will have to read a little bit what I wanted to share with you rather than being able to do, these coming and going and completely reciting from memory what I had to share with you. So sorry for this, I'm going to do it a little bit old style. So good morning, everyone. I left university to start my career in the mid-80s. So that was a long time ago. And some of you were not even born back then. And we even had positive interest rates. So you see, it's ages ago. At the time, diversity and inclusion was a theme nowhere near the top of the agendas of either business organizations or governments. And I'm pretty sure that people back then would have had a hard time to define these concepts. Still, even back then, I wanted to work in a firm that is diverse and provides opportunities for all. Today, this is not only my vision and my desire, this is also part of BNP Paribas core values. This is because the world itself is diverse, and it is morally right to have this reflected in our workforce. And of course, there are other business reasons which I shall explain later, but for me the emphasis on this is being a fair and open environment. I know this is challenging. It's a long journey and takes considerable effort, time and passion. Let me explain some of the challenges I face as a senior manager within global markets. In my role as head of EMEA Global Markets, I am often challenged with the poor gender balance within my business. I have to sadly admit that this is true, and this is a dynamic we want to actively change. When I look at the low representation of female role models, I know we have to do more than simply wait for SMP positions to come up. In the last years, we have implemented a 50% graduate intake of women versus men. This is a step in the right direction, building progressively a sizable pool of female talents from which future female SMPs will emerge. But again, this alone will not be enough to make a fundamental change in the culture of my business area. There are also similar reasons we have more French senior managers in global markets compared to other nationalities. And that again is something both Olivier and I would like to slowly but surely get right. On a more sinister and revolting note, we had to promptly cope with bullying cases around sexuality. For these reasons, I decided to try to make a measurable difference by becoming the chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Council in the UK. This is and continues to be a time-intensive part of my role, but this is an exciting mission with benefits going beyond global markets, the UK subsidiaries of the group, or our underrepresented minorities. Being the chair of this council requires me to make a strong stand in the face of inequality and also demonstrates to my colleagues and peers that as a senior manager in the firm, taking a stance for these matters is essential. My role on the council is to listen and to hear our progress and also our areas of development in the UK. And at the same time, it is to simply encourage the fellow council members, support the initiatives, and drive change in a non-blaming manner, to embrace the constraints to achieving changing attitudes and behaviors, and help to find resolution. It takes energy and drive, commitment, and a bit of courage. None of these ingredients being easy to find some days. I also realize that the challenge may also be bigger and more arduous than it looks, because we can only change what we know. What about the unconscious biases that exist each of us. Later this week, you will hear about the D&I Council's goals and achievements. But I now want to move on to the business case for diversity and inclusion. The first time I read the McKinsey report published in 2015, I was astonished that there is empirical evidence to show that teams that are diverse have a higher return or profit compared to undiverse teams. It confirmed that companies in the top quartile for gender or racial diversity are likely to have financial returns above the industry medians. There is justice, after all. Let's just take a minute to ponder on that. So it has been proved that if we build more diverse teams, they can be more successful. That means the bank can be more successful. So actually this moves the reasons away from just being politically correct. There is also a business imperative. But how do we try to change this? What can each one of us do to improve our own and each other's environments, behaviors, and attitudes? It has to start with us, each one of us indeed. Diversity and inclusion is not solved through committees and meetings. Individual contributions on a daily basis will make the difference. Think about what diversity and inclusion means to us. Think about what it means to you. We are all concerned, you included. Think of it carefully. You or your loved ones are personally connected to diversity and inclusion themes: gender, sexual orientation, nationality, creed, ethnic background, etc. There is indeed a very long list of themes captured by D&I, and chances are high that you are going to tick more than one box. I am no exception. In my personal case, this is the ability box for my bipolar daughter. The concept of having a diverse and inclusive environment means all employees can bring themselves to work with no fear. I personally believe in the power of a benevolent management style. Benevolent does not mean weak. It does not mean not paying attention to goals. It does not mean being a softie. But it does mean listening and respecting each other in order to make balanced and fair decisions. So there is a lot to do and a level of awareness that will require continuous effort to be increased. We can all play a part by standing up when something seems unjust and unfair. This takes courage, as mentioned before, but if as a senior business leader I can show I will challenge non-diverse behaviors, even amongst my peers, then this can act as a role model behavior to others. I am no hero. I am no different from the next person. I also have my shortcomings, but I believe behaving in a genuine and ethically right way makes all the difference, and it is addictive. BNP Paribas in the UK has scored a number of success in the D&I space. Let me cite some of them. For global markets, we have managed to increase the nationality mix in our executive committees globally and have put in place a significant program to develop our senior female leaders in order to increase senior representation. Territory-wise, we have with Anne-Marie Verstraeten our first non-French female head of territory. We have a new UK head of HR that is also female and non-French, namely Louise Fitzgerald-Lombard. Diversity is also now clearly embedded within our talent program, and over 90% of our SMPs have gone through inclusion training. So you see, it shows that commitment and focus on the D&I objectives can bring results. In summary, if I can leave 3 points with you, this is what they should be. Diversity is not only morally right, it makes business sense. Hence, as you will see on the D&I Hub, money talks, diversity pays. We are all different. We have different upbringings and experiences. All of these should be respected and qualities drawn from them. Perspectives are also valued here at BNP Paribas. Being tolerant to one another is clearly something we all need to aim for. Thank you.